Hey, welcome back to another episode of Camp and Camera. Today we've got a little catching up to do. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. If this is your first time here, it's certainly good to have you aboard. And if you're a repeat watcher, welcome back. And hey, if you are a repeat watcher, you probably noticed that we missed last week's episode. That's the first time I've missed a week in, gosh, as long as I can remember. And I'm sorry about that. About 12 days ago, I came down with some kind of horrible, I don't know, head cold virus, whatever it was. It just kicked my butt. 2 days later, Joanne ended up getting it. We have been feeling miserable. So I'm on lunch break at work. My plan was to go home tonight and start demolition on the cargo trailer. And I've got like the world's worst head cold. Good grief. I think I'm just going to go home tonight and hit the bed. So, we didn't feel good enough to shoot an episode last week. I'm sorry about that. We thought we'd just tough it out. This thing would pass. Here we are 12 days later. And I'll have to say today we finally sucked it up. And we finally went to the doctor today. So, I've been sick for 12 days. Joanne's been sick for 10 days. So we finally gave in, sucked it up, and we just went to the little clinic at Kroger. Got her bag of meds, so got some kind of a sinus thing going on. Hopefully we'll get better now. So, enough of that. Everybody gets sick. I'm not looking for pity, but we sure have felt rough. But in the last 12 days, though, we haven't just sat idly and not done anything. We have done a couple things towards getting started on the conversion of our cargo trailer that we mentioned in the last episode. And then I've done a couple things towards making the teardrop a little bit more usable. So let me show you what we got going on. So you know what happens when you're sick. You're sitting around on your phone or your computer and you're looking at stuff on Amazon. I did make a couple Amazon buys. Ever since I got the teardrop camper going, I really wish I had some way to extinguish a fire. So I found this little fire extinguisher. When I say little, I wanted to find something small and compact just because the Camp Easy teardrop is compact. But anyway, I found this thing. It's going to be super easy to mount to the wall, so I was able to get that. Now, on my big camper, and I haven't showed you this before, when I started camping in my big camper, I used to use like some pressure-treated 2x8s or 2x10s, and I would stack them on top of each other as leveling blocks if the campsite was unlevel. And it worked okay, but those things were, I don't know, they took up a lot of room and they were heavy. I ended up buying something called Anderson levelers. If you've been camping for a while, you've probably heard of Anderson levelers. It's basically just a wedge with a chalk under it that you can drive up on to level your camper. I wanted to do something like that for the teardrop because I like them so well, but they're kind of heavy. Well, I ran across something very similar from CAMCO, and it's just called a CAMCO curved leveler, and it's basically just a small Anderson leveler that's made with a honeycomb construction where it's a lot lighter weight. Hopefully I can just throw these up in the tongue box and keep those going with me. Let me pull these out and show them to you. It's basically just a curved wedge that you put on the ground in front of your wheel, and you start pulling forward, and your wheel will go up on these. And as your wheel goes further, this thing will start tilting up, and your wheel will be higher off the ground. And you can probably get up to, I don't know, almost 4 inches of leveling from one side to the other. And when you get as much level as you want, you put this chalk underneath it, and it makes a nice platform for the camper to sit on. And again, these are, I'm going to call it a honeycomb construction, so they're going to be a lot lighter weight to carry around than an Anderson leveler. The chalk is hollow, but it's still pretty heavy duty. So, hey, I'll put a link below to these last two items if it's something you're interested in. But I was really excited to find these. Now, I'm not sponsored by any of these guys. I bought them with my own money, but I'm sure glad I ran across them. So as far as the cargo trailer is concerned, as far as the conversion on it, having had a teardrop and having had a couple larger campers in the past, one thing that I found is important to me, may not be to a lot of people, is I want a place to go to the bathroom. It's not a topic a lot of people like to talk about, but hey, I got to do number one. Number two,
I like to have a place to do it without having to get out in a, a Walmart parking lot if I'm boondocking there overnight. So in the cargo trailer, I'm actually going to build the trailer around the toilet. My goal was to buy some kind of toilet, put it in the camper or the cargo trailer where I want it to be, build a stall around that, and then build the rest of the camper around the stall. I know it seems like I'm putting a lot of weight on that, but let me tell you, 3 o'clock in the morning, I got to get up, I got to go pee. I want to be able to do it without having to hop out of the camper. It's important to me. So a couple days before we got down under the weather, we actually made a drive to I'm going to call it a semi-local surplus merchandise store. And they ended up having like a whole pallet of brand new in the box Dometic toilets. Don't know why they got them, don't know why they have them, but they had them for less than half price. I was just tickled to be able to find one of those. So I picked one up. I'm going to put that in the cargo conversion and build around that. Let me show you what I got here. I'm just looking at the box itself. I'm just going to call it a Dometic. I don't know if you call it a cassette toilet, but there is a cassette underneath that you can pull out to dump the waste, and there's like a few gallon water tank in the top that you use for flushing water. That's the box. See if I can get this thing out of here to show you what it looks like. So this is the toilet. Still in the wrapping. Had all the paperwork inside the lid. So yeah, it's brand new. I was just super stoked to find a flushable, lightweight toilet, portable toilet for the cargo conversion. So let me show you the floor plan we've come up with. On the front of the camper, on the driver's side, we're going to put a corner booth for this toilet to set in. It's probably going to have a curtain, a really tall floor-to-ceiling curtain for the door. On the passenger side of the front wall, we plan on putting just a little countertop area there. Maybe it'll be a mini kitchen, something like that. In the very back of the camper, we're planning on putting a queen-size bed going across the width of the camper. On the driver's side, between the bed and the toilet, thinking about putting a small bench there, a padded bench, something to sit on. And as you walk into the side door, immediately on your left, thinking about putting some cabinets on the bottom, and then on the wall above that, putting a television set that would be easy to view from the bench on the other side. Now, it is possible that we may end up putting a futon in the very back of the camper instead of just a queen-size bed. We're still thinking about that. Right now, though, we're looking at just building a frame for a queen-size bed and putting a bench. So, hey, that's the floor plan we've come up with. I think it's going to work out really well and be a good use of space.
All right, so we have found a little place that you can buy like surplus RV parts. So we're going to see if there's anything to find for the camper. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing some cargo storage doors that might
be a good thing. Let's check that out. Yeah, that might could work. Do like a pass-through storage under a bed, maybe?
All sizes.
Like one of those emergency windows, doesn't it? It's got that handle where you can get out of it. That one, no, it's not a crack, it's a piece of caulk on there. Oh, that might be a nice size window for the side of it, you think?
Actually, yeah.
We found a brand new RV window. And this happens to be an emergency exit window, which means it has a red handle at the bottom of it. You open this handle and push it, and the window is hinged at the top, and you can open it enough to where you can crawl out of it in case there's some kind of a fire or, some reason you need to go out a window. What we're looking at doing is putting this over the bed on the same wall that the side walk-in door is on. That way, if I put like a Fantastic fan or a Max fan above the toilet stall, I can pull air in from the back right corner and let it exhaust through the front left corner. I think that'd be pretty good airflow across the camper. And also, that'll be the side that your camp spot is on, so you can look out the window and look at your camp spot. So if you've ever looked up RV windows on the internet, even like on eBay, these things are expensive. And they're usually, you know, they have to be put in a big box, so the shipping charges are pretty hefty. I bought this window for 10 bucks. It's a brand new window. It was a little dirty. He had it sitting outside, so you know, I had some stains on it that I'm probably gonna have to clean up, but the window was brand new. Does not have a trim ring. That's probably why he sold it so cheap, but that's cool with me because I'm gonna be making my own trim ring out of wood anyway. So I was stoked to find that, and again, I found the toilet less than half price, and it was brand new as well, in the box. So that's a really good start to this cargo conversion. So hey, let's do this week's viewer spotlight. And this week is going to go to Bill Rice. Bill, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Basically, I was just going down through the Teardrop Camper group on Facebook, just going down through the news feed, looking at what was there. And I ran across this really cool blue and white camper being pulled by a really old blue and white Jeep. It really caught my attention. Had some big fat tires on both the camper and the Jeep. So I reached out to Bill and said, hey, that's a neat looking camper. What can you tell me about it? He was kind enough to send over some photographs and some information. Turns out it's an old military trailer. It's like a 1966 military trailer, all rusted out and kind of janky. He bought this thing for 150 bucks. Used the frame and some of the original parts to kind of keep a vintage look. He actually stretched the frame out to a 5 foot wide by 7 foot long so that he could get a bed in there. And he's pulling it behind a 65 model CJ5 Jeep. So that's pretty neat. It was kind of funny. He said, I thought the thing would fall apart by now, but he's pulled it to Alaska and back, Newfoundland and back, put 10,000 miles on it. Said it keeps going strong and it's holding in there doing well, so he's just going to keep on using it. But it's a neat looking old camper. Bill, thanks for sending over that information. Before we get out of here, I want to say a special congratulations. A good friend of mine yesterday married his love of his life, Barry, in April. You had a wonderful wedding. It was an Irish-themed wedding. I'd never seen one of those before. Congratulations to the both of you. I wish you all the best. So, hey, that's this week's episode. I appreciate you watching. If this is your first time here, you like what you saw, click the like button. It sure helps me out. Subscribe if you want to come back. And until next time, take care. We'll see you on the road.